Introduction: the calm before the storm. Jack, a talented project director, is seen diligently working on a large construction project. He discusses important tasks with his subordinate, Zhang, and assigns him new responsibilities. Jack appears confident and fully committed to his role. However, behind the scenes, a group of conspirators is secretly plotting to bring him down. The plan is 80% complete. One of them says ominously. Suspicious clues begin to emerge. Jack leads his team to the construction site for inspection, but something seems off. There are no construction machines, workers, or signs of activity on the land. Jack checks the site against the project blueprint and realizes it matches the location perfectly, but the absence of activity raises suspicion. When Jack attempts to call the project partners, their phones are unreachable. To clarify the situation, Jack contacts his friend Hung, a cadastral officer familiar with local land records. Hung reveals shocking news. This land is not part of any construction plan. It is still classified as agricultural land. The shocking discovery leaves Jack confused and suspicious. Have I been deceived? He wonders. The emergency meeting, Jack under fire. A few days later, the company's board of directors convenes an emergency meeting. Reports from the monitoring team state that no construction is taking place on site, and it is discovered that the project's construction permits are forged. The company's general director, Mr. Hui, asks, "Who will be held responsible for this disaster?" Jack is called to explain himself. He admits he signed the project contracts but emphasizes that Deputy Director Thiat assured him that everything had been approved by the corporate office. Thiat, however, denies responsibility, claiming, "I only attended some meetings with Jack. All decisions were his." Jack defends himself, claiming that someone is exploiting his loopholes to frame him. But without solid evidence, he is accused of negligence. The fall, Jack loses his position. After deliberation, the board of directors announces a harsh decision. Jack is temporarily suspended as director while an official investigation is conducted. Deputy Director Thiat is assigned to take over Jack's responsibilities. Jack tries to protest, pleading for more time to prove his innocence. But the decision is final. Once the meeting ends, a private conversation reveals the true mastermind. Thiat receives a phone call from a secret associate. A chilling voice says, "Everything is going as planned. The money will be transferred soon." Thiat smiles cunningly, clearly the mastermind behind Jack's downfall. Jack's determination to fight back. Jack is not ready to give up. He contacts a trusted ally, Tung, and requests help. "I need you to investigate the phone numbers linked to Thiat. We must find out who is behind this," Jack says. Determined to clear his name, Jack begins to gather evidence to expose the conspiracy. Meanwhile, Thiat continues plotting in secret, ensuring no loose ends are left behind. "Don't reveal yourself for now. Wait until the investigation dies down," Thiat warns his associate. Cliffhanger ending. Will Jack rise again? The video ends with two powerful scenes. Jack's resolve. Sitting in a dimly lit room, Jack is seen going through piles of documents. His eyes are filled with determination as he whispers to himself, "I will uncover the truth. Whoever did this to me will pay." Thiat's confidence. Thiat sits in his office, grinning as he receives another phone call. "Jack is finished," he says with a sinister laugh. The screen fades to black, leaving viewers wondering, will Jack be able to prove his innocence? Will he expose Thiat and his accomplices before it's too late? Who is the secret figure funding Thiat's plan? Intense opening. Jack faces a dead end. The episode begins with Jack sitting quietly in a dimly lit room, surrounded by piles of documents and files. His face shows signs of exhaustion, but his eyes are filled with determination as he tries to connect the dots. Suddenly, his phone rings. It's Tung. "I have new information. The mysterious phone number is linked to an offshore bank account," says Tung. Jack's eyes narrow. "Which bank? Whose name is it under?" The account is registered under a shell company connected to Deputy Director Thiat. Jack clenches his fist. "So, it's you, Thiat." The game of cat and mouse. Jack gathers evidence. Jack realizes that confronting Thiat without hard evidence will get him nowhere, so he starts collecting proof. He secretly contacts an employee from the company's IT department who has access to Thiot's emails and messages. Jack persuades him. I need you to access Thiot's email records. If you find anything suspicious, send it to me. I promise you'll stay out of trouble. The employee hesitates but eventually agrees. A few days later, Jack receives a USB containing crucial evidence, an email exchange between Thiot and a mysterious figure named Mr. H. In one email, Thiot writes, "Everything is under control. Jack has been suspended. Transfer the remaining money to my account." This is the smoking gun Jack needed. He saves a copy of the email and stores it securely on a USB drive. The villain's plot, Thiot's next move. Meanwhile, Thiot feels more confident than ever, unaware that Jack is building a case against him. At a board meeting, Thiot receives praise for stabilizing the situation after Jack's suspension. A shareholder asks, "Can Jack make a comeback?" Thiot smirks. "Impossible. The blame is already on him. The company needs a strong leader, and that's me." Later, Thiot receives a warning call from Mr. H. "Be careful. I hear Jack is still investigating," warns Mr. H. Thiot frowns and replies, "If that's the case, it's time to end him for good." The chase, Jack becomes a target. Jack heads out to meet Tung to hand over the USB containing evidence, but something feels off. He notices a suspicious motorbike following him. At an isolated intersection, the motorbike speeds up and heads straight for Jack. Jack quickly dodges, but he falls to the ground, and the USB drive slips out of his jacket pocket. The rider speeds off, vanishing into the distance. Breathing heavily, Jack picks up the USB, brushes off the dirt, and immediately calls Tung. "We're being watched. Change the meeting spot." Turning the tables, Jack exposes the truth. Jack decides it's time to go on the offensive. He walks into the company building and demands a meeting with the general director, Mr. Nguyen Quang Hui. The director initially refuses to meet him, saying, "You're suspended, Jack. There's nothing more to discuss." Jack remains firm. "I have proof of who framed me. If you don't listen now, it will be too late to save the company." Reluctantly, Mr. Hui agrees to a private meeting. Jack presents the USB, showing the emails and messages exchanged between Thiot and Mr. H. The general director's eyes widen in shock. If this is true, then we need to act fast. He immediately calls for an emergency board meeting, inviting all directors and senior managers. The showdown, Thiot's mask falls off. The emergency board meeting is tense. Jack enters the room with the general director, holding the USB drive in his hand like a weapon. The general director announces, "Today, we will review new evidence regarding the recent project scandal. Jack, present your findings." Jack steps forward and connects the USB to a projector. The email from Thiot to Mr. H is displayed on the big screen for everyone to see. "Jack has been suspended. Transfer the money to my account." Silence fills the room. Thiot's face goes pale. He stands up, pointing at the screen, and shouts, "This is fake. Anyone can forge an email like that." But Jack isn't finished. He pulls out a bank statement showing the wire transfer from Mr. H to Thiot's account. The general director's face hardens. "This is irrefutable proof, Thiot. You betrayed us." Another director demands immediate action. "We must notify the authorities and have him arrested." Security personnel enter the room and place Thiot under arrest. As they escort him out, Thiot turns to Jack and snarls, "Don't think you've won, Jack. This isn't over." Open-ended conclusion, the fight is not over. As the dust settles, Jack finally takes a moment to breathe. But it doesn't last long. His phone buzzes with a message from an unknown number. The next one to fall won't be Thiot. "Watch your back, Jack." Jack's eyes narrow as he reads the message. He looks around, scanning for potential threats. The episode ends with Jack's voice narrating in the background. One enemy down, but another one is already watching. "I need to be ready."